Hey guys, what's up? This is the second episode of the 1165 build. So, I ran into a little bit of difficulty here. The problem is I don't have a paint booth. And it turns out you really need negative pressure, not for proper ventilation, all that health stuff that no one gives a shit about, but for the air particles that atomize but don't dry onto the paint to go. Because if not, they end up on your project, either on a wet area or something else. And by the way, this isn't wet paint, this is water. But as you can see, when I'm kind of doing this with my hand, and there's not dust, not sawdust, sanding dust, I don't know, carcinogenics in molecule form from that wonderful Kark paint. So yeah, I sprayed it with Rapco 686. I'm not using the HVLP anymore, but this is the paint, and it's a wonderful paint. It's GCI, which is Giuseppe, or however you say that, and it's 686. It's a very good copy. Ran that through two HVLP guns. This one, which is a nicer one, used to be a nicer one before this whole process took place. And then the shitty Harbor Freight one. The Harbor Freight one wouldn't give me enough spread. I got to a pretty happy spread with the, what is this? This one's off Amazon. It's a $100 HVLP gun. Something 44, the paint's covering it. Like Master Paint or Master Pro or something. I don't know. So, and it turned out pretty good. You can see a lot of the surfaces. I pretty much painted the whole thing. The problem is the dust. So I went back over a lot of imperfections with 120, kind of like all over the place. I don't know if I missed it the first time or what the hell was happening. I noticed when I painted that I had used the palm sander on surfaces like these, and it turned out really choppy. It looked like I had taken a piece of clay and then just cut it with an X-Acto knife to try to make a rounded edge. So it was a good learning experience, but it also put down a little bit more primer onto the existing Kark. So it did help me out. It was a major waste of time, and I had to sand the entire thing again. But it wasn't that bad because, like I said, it did add another base coat. A lot of the areas that were like solid green at least have something to go off of now. So again, the first thing I went over all the rough areas again with 120 grit. There were a lot of them. There were some paint drips from some shitty HVLP work and just a whole bunch of exciting, wonderful things that had happened. And I guess there must have been a lot of body work that I just completely missed out on the first time around. Either I said, fuck it, it's a Humvee or whatever, and I didn't pay special attention to, because I went over this with 120 and found a lot of spots that I wasn't exactly happy with. So that happened. This is kind of a good example. I was able to paint, see that? That's built up dust that just kind of sat on wet paint, but that back half isn't painted, this half is painted. So to kind of give you an idea there, I didn't bother sanding or doing anything with this back piece. For whatever reason, the air sand molecules from the HVLP gun that have atomized, they like flat surfaces, sure they do, but they really love vertical surfaces, which kind of surprised me because it's pretty difficult for them to stick. You can see that this whole thing right here, this little strip, that is the atomized paint that had somewhere to land. And you can tell it's a different color. So this whole thing looked splotchy. It looked like that on and off in random patches because the texture is very rough, which also changes the color of it. So it's not just the texture, it's also the color, and it's not just color, it's also texture. So that was the issue that I had because I don't have a paint booth. But do you know what does work? Every time, rattle cans. Rattle cans don't leave that messy atomized mess that HVLP guns do in the same way that their dust doesn't accumulate as much. That combined with a lot of this is kind of already painted because I'm not changing colors. That'd be a total nightmare. a lot of it's already painted. So I'm really just kind of giving it 1 or 2 light coats all the way around. I don't have to blast this thing like I did the first time with the HVLP gun, getting all these sections that were pure green into tan. So kind of all those sections have been taken care of by the first coat of the HVLP, which I put on pretty heavy. So the rattle cans is going to finish it up. I ordered it from some website. I didn't use the rattle cans on eBay because their nozzles are dog shit. I have a couple. Every single can, it's every single can, which I did this surface with actually, is dog shit. I mean, you'll get drips. It just spits it out. The paint, wonderful. The rattle can nozzles are pure garbage. So I found a company that's like a professional paint company, whatever, and they have a perfect match of the military United States spec Carc 686. So I got 10 of those rattle cans in a very flat finish, and it cost me, I think, like $150. So I'm going to be going, and I don't think I need 10 rattle cans to finish this off, but we're going to be doing the turret and the OGPK kit and then the slant back. So I was like, I might as well get a couple extra because there's a $25 batch fee just for ordering any of them. So I got 10 cans. They say it covers 22 square feet. I say that's bullshit, but we'll find out. So the whole thing is sanded again, down to 400 and 600 grit. It's very smooth, awesome. A lot of the bodywork's taken care of. So because I don't get the paint till Saturday, and today's Thursday, I am going to be painting the black surfaces in the meantime, but the big ones. So the front bumper here, this section, and then the rear bumper in the back is what I'm going to be focused on painting today, as well as all the extra fun little bits, this guy, the A2 bumper, that we took off for paint prep, which are all stored in here. So those guys are going to be painted today as well. Sanded, painted, lenses separated, lenses polished, that kind of thing. And I got the Lexan and this is really thick. I mean, it's a 1/4 inch thick, which is a bit thicker than I had expected. That's what she said. And that's going to go in the back here. And I do have the correct H seal from MasterCar to install that. So my plan is, at least from the way I painted it, there's probably some outline of what that shape is. So I'm going to remove that, take it onto the Lexan, cut it perfectly, install the H seal with our new Lexan seal, or Lexan glass, quote unquote, and see how that goes. Again, there should be a slant back on the back there, but the slant back has windows. So hopefully you could put a rear view mirror in there, which I probably won't do anyway, but that will be able to see out the back. That'd be pretty cool. And then also on order, I've got a 240 cradle coming in. As soon as paint done, I'm driving to Fort Lauderdale to meet up with Steve to buy a turret. He's got a bunch of stuff, frag 5 doors, anything you could ever want. I'd imagine it's going to be like a kid in a candy shop. And we'll see what we come back with that. But I'm really just looking for a turret. I plan on making a custom OGPK turret kit, but if I find one that's already done that I kind of like, I might just pick that up instead. But here it is in its current fabulous state. Rattle canning it the rest of the way with good quality paint. And yeah, I'll get this thing finished, painted, and see how it turns out. So thank you guys for watching. Next time you see this, it should be completely painted.